from the beginning, our message has been very simple. We will not be extorted on this crazy plot of theirs. They've never done this before. Nobody has. You always vote for an extension. Chuck Schumer and the Senate Democrats need to vote for the clean, bipartisan CR and reopen our government. It's got to be reopened right now. We're not doing that. They are the obstructionists. And the reason they're doing it is because we're doing so well. We're doing well all over the world. We're doing well with the close to $20 trillion that I just told you about. It will be that number, but even if you take it down to over 17, that's a guarantee. We're doing well with everything. We've already seen the impacts of the dangerous game that they're playing. Democrats are causing delays in our air traffic control system. So important. We wouldn't have had, there's Pete Buttigieg. He spent billions of dollars on fixing the air traffic control that used copper wire going into glass wire. Any union electrician here or any non-union electrician would say you can't hook copper into glass. It doesn't work. They spent billions of dollars. They turned on the system, and it was stone cold blank. We're getting a brand new system. We have bids out now. We have 3 great companies bidding. And I want one bid. Sean Duffy's doing terrifically. I want one bid. I want just bid, and they're responsible for everything. Not where they had like 1,000 contractors. Every contractor, they were all running around. In the end, if one of them does a bad job, we want to be able to blame somebody, and it's going to be one of the very big companies because there's a lot of interest in it. So the air traffic control system is going to be rebuilt. Over 1 million federal workers right now, as you know, are going unpaid. That's the Democrats' fault. And children, tourists, unable to visit the museums in Washington, D.C., that we now have beautiful, safe streets, but we don't have the museums open. We should probably just open them. But we are doing things that nobody's ever done, nobody's ever seen. So all of this and the pain that the Democrats have caused during this reckless and completely unnecessary affair, and you could call it the Schumer shutdown or the Democrat shutdown, you can call it whatever you want.
This is the 4th week of the Democrat shutdown, but we are all here today because your Republican team in the Senate is unified. This is now the longest full shutdown in history, but everybody here has voted now 11 different times to open up the government, and we are going to keep voting to open up the government, and eventually the Democrats, hopefully sooner or later, are going to come around.
They're having a really hard time. By the way, it's on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope all of you guys are doing incredibly well. They're having an amazingly difficult time right now keeping the Republican Party together. They want so badly, they're filibuster, they're trying to push it. Now, again, I think some of this is optics, so it looks like we're going through all this turmoil, so it looks like this and that. I feel like Speaker Johnson and Speaker Thune are both like, yeah, no, here's what we're going to do. And then everybody else is like, blah, 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 right? And like all the stuff going on behind the scenes, but none of it matters because none of them can actually do anything. We're moving through, I don't know about the longest, because 33 days with Trump, but there might have been some, because he said, unfunded or something. Anyway, he had a clarifier word in there that I forget what it was, but whatever. This, I think, we'll see, is one of the only possible ways that we might actually be able to reform the government in a radical way. If this goes long enough, there's contracts, there's things, the tariffs, there's a lot of different avenues that are questionable, never been done before, but we've never been in this situation before either. We are an insane amount of debt, and the government is a huge, huge part of that. We've got trillions of dollars tied up in, well, billions and billions and billions of dollars tied up in nonsense. Probably well over $1 trillion in total for sure. And then God knows some of the places we were wasting money in the military and stuff like that, which giant-ass budget as well. Plus the black projects that we were giving money to the deep state, funneling money through all sorts of different avenues to figure out how to fund some of their craziness. So Trump is calling on Dems to stop the madness and vote to reopen the government. He's like, I'll talk to you guys about anything, anytime, any place, except you must open the government first, period. End of story. You're not going to hold the government hostage to have some special negotiations. No, open the government and we'll talk. We definitely, healthcare is way too expensive. Way too expensive. Arizona Attorney General suing the House over failure to swear in this Grijalva lady. It would make a difference with the vote for one, but the House has been closed. The government's closed. There's no reason to just open the House just to swear somebody in. So again, we're playing fun games, and they're hating it. They're panicking. They're freaking out. They're calling for more and more violence. That's, it's just the way they roll. The Senate GOP moles filibuster reform to end the shutdown. Johnson talked about it. Who was Tuberville? Some of the people that, I don't know, whatever. Like, I sometimes wonder who the ones are going to be that are going to step up and be stupid, like Massey. This one, again, getting rid of the filibuster it's something that Democrats have wanted to do forever. And it's something that the Republicans have essentially held out on because most of the time the Republicans were the weak party. We, ultimately, in my opinion, should get more than 60 people in the Senate and do what we need to do. Or at least turn a few of the Democrats or take away this nasty machine that makes it impossible to vote properly across party lines. Whatever the case is, I'm open to a number of different opportunities, but needless to say, we need to see this kind of open up. And this 60 vote threshold, as big a pain in the ass as it is, it's saved us on numerous occasions. And it's really easy to be short-sighted when you're like, yeah, but we got this. You get enough tar in your face for doing something stupid, and this, I think, is one of these third-rail things. This stupid filibuster. So I think they should stay the hell away from it. You got people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Massey and idiots like that are talking about it. Like, oh, we should do this. Yeah, shut up. Go back to your thing. Get out of here. Stop. The adults are talking. You guys aren't even allowed in the room. Shut up. GOP leaders eye new stopgap spending measure to end the shutdown. They're at this point, they're like, look, the November 21st original CR we did it was sufficient then. Shoot, now that's not even a month from now. What's the point of passing this when we're going to immediately have to do something else or immediately going to be out of money? So they're talking about coming together and creating a new budget. Now, what I'm curious about is whether the House leads that budget creation, because so far the Senate hasn't been able to do anything. So maybe the Senate tries to put together a budget, a new CR. Now, what's going to be interesting is if they're going to try to add all their gobbledygook. And the Senate, I don't know how Thune's going to be. So how this plays out is going to be fascinating. A lot of people can say it's going to be this, that, or the other thing. There's too many moving pieces as we move forward each and every moment of every day. We make different decisions. So again, there's a lot of people prognosticating. I just don't think there's a point to it. Because if I prognosticated something right now, that might be the direction we're heading right now. But then the deep state's like, ooh, that's what you guys are doing? I'm going to put this block in place, and it would work. So there's a lot going on. And sometimes, being the guy that's right when you're the biggest channel is not necessarily a good thing. So I'm just going to say a lot of the bigger channels, I think statistically, have been showing themselves to be less accurate on the general whole, or at least in my opinion, talking about larger information pieces that tend to cause people to disengage from the main problem and engage in things that are secondary, tertiary, like that aren't even really germane to the big picture, right? Like aren't helping anything. Now, there are a lot of things that matter and come into play. We've got some information around Epstein that kind of ties into that in a neat way. Average cost of family health insurance plan is now $27,000 is what they're saying. I mean, this seems, it's the hill. This seems a little maybe hyperbolic, but this might be close to true. I will say mine was just for myself. It's over $500 a month. And I'm just like that. I don't even go to the doctor. And what this is all about is the fact that we've been told over and over and over that something might happen one day. And if something happens one day, which is a pretty small percentage, by the way, not everybody goes through these catastrophic events in life. But if something happens, you should have this insurance in place. And what they do is they make the insurance so ridiculously expensive, but they tell you got to have it because otherwise something might happen. Look, here's the thing. You can go bankrupt on medical bills. The hospital can't turn you away if something happens. Now, again, you got families. I get you. It's a whole different ball game. But there's a lot of things to consider. Certainly here in California, they actually penalize you if you don't have health care. which is pretty messed up. So they force you to pay $27,000 into this racket. When if you maybe get a gym membership, watch what you eat, watch some videos on how to eat better, and yeah, who knows what you could do. Especially with, the ivermectins we've learned about, with the parasite cleanse we've learned about, with a lot of the different supplements we've got that help us out. There's a lot of things. I mean, eating better, but yeah, a lot of our food is nutrient dense or nutrient lacking. I don't know what the proper way to say that is. Averse, maybe. Carolyn Levitt talking to Jesse Waters, who, by the way, was sitting next to some Gail King, I think her name was, one of the other channels. What was interesting is Jesse was wearing a hat and glasses, and it was like, yeah, I mean, this is how they try to hide. They don't want to be known. They don't want to be seen. So that's just funny what a hat will do. Oh, see, for me personally, I bet if I took my hat off in a lot of cases, some of you have seen me with my hat off, and it's not like it's impressive. I'm not bald, but I'm thinning. But and needless to say, I look different. Used to crack me up. There's a long story there. All said, it's not worth hearing right now. Carolyn Levitt telling us that POTUS is very, very, very open to meeting with Dems. But, so this is some of the newest stuff.
Well, we're continuing to work very hard to try to reopen the government, Jesse, and we are now on day 21 of the government shutdown. Democrats have voted 11 straight times against the Republican-led clean continuing resolution to keep the government open. And it's quite peculiar because they voted for 13 times in the past for this exact same type of funding bill. As the president very clearly stated in the Oval Office today, he will gladly meet with Democrats to talk about health care or whatever other issue that they want to talk about. And by the way, it's the Democrats who created the broken healthcare system in this country through Obamacare that has led to rising premium and costs. It's this president, President Trump, who is taking on big pharma, who is cutting deals with them, who is working with insurance companies across the board to bring down the cost of healthcare in this country. But he's not going to have those conversations until Democrats simply vote to reopen the government. There are damning consequences every single day. Nearly 500,000 Americans are going without their paychecks right now. President wants to put people back to work, and he's calling on Senate Democrats to do the right thing, have a little bit of courage to stand up to their far-left radical base and vote to reopen the government.
I find I would have a hard time, getting in an argument with a really, really hot chick because, frankly, I don't know, you guys look so cute when you get angry. Kind of, I don't know, something about it. I've been screamed at before. I mean, it's, I'm a frustrating guy. I'm just telling you, we all are frustrating people. Got to know that. We're connected. And some weird stuff. I hopefully this makes more sense to me here in a second. Yeah, House Oversight Chair Comer in a briefing today says no evidence from 43,000 documents linking President Trump to Epstein. Now, this whole Epstein thing, again, there's a lot that we're going to kind of cover in this small bit, but a lot of this likely, and someone added a cool little caveat to the theory, or to, I think, the concept, really, frankly, because I think this is a very confusing, difficult thing. A lot of people are very black and white about aspects of this, right? But this all comes together. The Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, fact she's not dead, like all of this, the submarine piloting, all of this is just a whole big ball of nasty that needs to be taken together. It's a big pill, but it's a pill that belongs together. So there are likely people being controlled by the fact that we have control of the list. Or as they were calling it in like Mission Impossible, the knock list, right? Like the knock list got out into the public. Like this is that. This is that. So all of a sudden, now we're having certain people behave in kind of odd ways, right? Government shutting down. It's almost like they're just falling on that grenade. I don't know. I mean, maybe they truly believe they actually think they can win this argument. They might. They are pretty weird in the head. Very weird. They put vagina hats on. I mean, something's not connecting up top. And you need a vagina hat to help connect. So there's a lot to this. And many are wondering if this is the way the white hats are controlling the movie. There's a lot of things to consider. I mean, what do we know for sure? Nothing.
Let's be clear. Democrats don't care about transparency or accountability in this matter. The evidence we've gathered does not implicate President Trump in any way. public reporting, survivor testimony, and official documents show that Bill Clinton had far closer ties to Epstein. Let's be clear. Democrats don't...
Why do I feel like that was supposed to be longer? The Democrats are weirdly in this place where they're pushing for criminals, they're pushing for pedophiles, they're pushing for people that don't belong in this country to get free money. They're pushing for all of the wrong things. How? Right? Like, how? They're not that stupid, and there's polling, and the polling is obvious. Schumer, of course, somebody that's got dirt all over him. Pelosi, someone who's damn near dropped out of sight. Got dirt all over her. Right? Just two. Why? Now we've got AOC running around. I don't think she's been invited to anything, frankly, so she's probably barely gotten herself in trouble. Virginia Giuffre's ghostwriter is saying that she knows who's in the Epstein files. And we go back to that. But let's say this. She, in her book, was very specific about being raped, Giuffre was, by an unidentified prime minister that she feared might die a sex slave, is what her fear was. You know, just to remind you, Prince Andrew renounces his royal titles right around when this book came out. Right around when this all happened. Think about the control. Think about who, again, I mean, there's people that want the list in full to come out, but there's actually some of the people I think that are on the list that are frankly working for the good guys and probably have done some things to help turn this around in a weird way. And I don't know, maybe there's levels of depravity in what they've done. I don't know. Again, each one of us has different takes on this, but I love intellectual problems. I just enjoy that concept. Like, how are people going to react to something like that? So there's a lot happening, to say the least. FBI posted this. Government employee arrest for unlawful retention of national defense information. A lot of that, in fact. This contractor was within the Department of Defense. Allegedly, they've been removing over 1,000 pages of classified national defense information from government facilities and storing them in their home. This arrest should serve as a stark warning to anyone thinking about undermining national security. The FBI and our partners will do everything within our power to find you and hold you accountable. Period. Boom. Done. Suck it. We had Mr. Jordan. Mr. Jordan was on with Hannity. It was actually a pretty good little piece of information here. I think we're going to do this a little faster, only because even though Jordan talks pretty fast, I'm just trying to save a little time. Love you guys. Let's get this one going. This is pretty cool. And we're talking about going after Brennan. We mentioned it yesterday, but here's a little more on it.
The House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan is with us with more. I've read your letter to Pam Bondi. It is a, wow, powerful prima facie case. He directly lied to Congress numerous times, and you believe you have the evidence.
Yeah, you're not supposed to lie, Sean, but you're definitely not supposed to lie when you're under oath talking to Congress. And that's exactly what it looks like John Brennan did. He said he wasn't involved with the dossier at all. He said that to us under oath. He said he didn't want it included in the intelligence community assessment, the report that's put together. But then ODNI Director Tulsi Gabbard declassified a report that said just the opposite. In fact, John Brennan put in writing that he felt the dossier should be included in the report. And more importantly, when he was confronted by an individual who works at the CIA, and the individual said, Mr. Brennan, this dossier just doesn't hold up. There's not the underlying intelligence to support it. And Brennan's response was, yeah, but doesn't it ring true? Showing his true color, showing that he was out to get President Trump. So we think he lied. We think it's clear. And I'll be, Sean, I don't do a lot of these. I've done very few referrals. You got to have the evidence to do this. We think it's there. We think it is clear. We appreciate what Tulsi released and declassified that report. And that's why we sent it to the Justice Department. And we'll see what the Attorney General Bondi and Deputy Attorney General Blanche do with it now.
They rejected the first intel assessment. Senior career intel officials at the CIA concluded there was no Trump-Russia collusion after the 2016 election. The declassified documents say Obama himself ordered it. And didn't they include, and didn't Brennan know, and wasn't he a part of the meeting that took place about a new intelligence assessment in this case?
Yeah. They changed the report between Election Day 2016, Inauguration Day in January 2017. They changed it in December. And they changed it to say something that wasn't supported by the intelligence. And then, to make matters worse, they go up to Trump Tower on January 6, 2017, and brief the president on the dossier that they know is garbage. That someone in the CIA who's familiar with the underlying intelligence told Director Brennan, you shouldn't use this. It doesn't hold up. But his response again was, doesn't it ring true? We're going to go up, set up President Trump, and create the predicate for Mueller and all the other garbage they did in his first term. And I always point out, this is when it all began. And remember, Sean, with John Brennan, there's a pattern. We include this in our letter. I think he lied to Congressman Gowdy back in 2017 about this very subject. We include that. And the irony, of course, is he lied under oath to us when we were questioning him about a different issue. The 51 former intel officials who signed that garbage letter saying the Hunter Biden laptop was a Russian information operation, which was pure garbage. So there's a pattern with Mr. Brennan. We illustrate that. But the clear evidence where he violated 18 U.S.C. 1001, we believe, is when he made those statements and then Director Gabbard, God bless her, released the declassified report that said something entirely different.
We got his ass. That's what it comes down to. Now, again, might not be the biggest thing yet. A lot of these things matter. A lot of these things demonstrate how these people weren't being truthful, how a lot of what many people believe is nonsense. So we are moving through the weeds in a dangerous place. Paul LePage says the main shooting victims, they sound an alarm on this NGO diverting money donated to help other weird groups. This former governor and candidate for Maine's 2nd Congressional District, Paul LePage, is joining victims of the Lewiston, Maine shooting to call out a non-governmental organization for allegedly diverting donations meant for victims to politically connected organizations, including those aiding migrants in the state. Literally still doing it. These victims were involved raising money for their loved ones that went through this mass shooting that happened. And a whole bunch of that money was funneled off, stolen, never given to the actual people that they raised it for. I mean, that's fraudulent on just about every level. And then on top of that, giving it to the migrants that aren't even legally here. They're stealing from the people that just went through suffrage and giving it to people that are not here legally. They're rewarding them. Bessent and Greer are heading to Malaysia to meet with CCP officials for trade talks. It's interesting. China did something funny with this announcement they made for greenhouse gases. That's a trip. We'll talk about that a little later. It's just, again, I told you this week is going to be a big deal for them. They're in this, like, whatever it's called, and they do it every so many years, and this is a big deal. Like, if she makes it through this, that's a big question. If the CCP, like, I don't know. But the new China after this point, I'm hoping, is a more world-friendly version of China. We'll find out. The Reddit army. I don't know if you guys, you know how they, what was it, GameStop? Remember when they did that? And there was another one, too. I forget what the other one was that they went after. But the Reddit army of day traders, they mess with people that short sell stuff. And the companies that short sell oftentimes are kind of dicks. They're oftentimes aware of a company that is crashing and intentionally making money off the crash. And so one of the things these people do is they buy the crap stock and they drive the price way up. And all the people that are shorting it get hosed. Now, a lot of them will try to extend it, but what happens is it becomes more and more expensive to do that, and ultimately they start having to really double down and put some serious money behind it. And if for some way they can delay it long enough, they're costing these people enough money and interest. If it finally crashes down to the price they want, they make a lot of it back, but with great pain. So the Reddit army, I love how the picture literally looks like, I mean, someone must have smashed those things down just so they would look like little wieners. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's just my mom didn't hug me enough, and that's what I see. I don't know. It could be something wrong with me. You might have saw, an umbrella stick. I don't know what you saw. Whatever the case is. Residential electricity prices surge big time. I keep talking about how this is a number that's not included in inflation. It's also why I bought solar. This is one of the things, I mean, if you can afford it, of course, but this is one of the things that's ridiculous. And residential prices, California, they went up the most. And I knew it. I saw it. 6.2% in this small little period of window. That's it. That's not added to inflation. They don't consider that. And it's actually, they're saying in some places, the overall average is about 27%. But let's see, inflation adjusted, they're saying. But yeah, that's not even accurate because they're playing with the numbers already for you. No, it's been way higher than that. Energy's gone up significantly, and it's happening everywhere. This is, unfortunately, energy is something that's state mostly run. It's sometimes even a little more local. It is not a federal thing. Trump does not have, there's no federal electric grid. Now, that might be something cool that Congress could pass, but as there is right now, stands right now, there's 3 electric grids. There's the West, the East, and Texas. There's 3 grids. They're all separate. Texas is probably the only one that's sort of smart about it, but they've been getting hosed over the years, so hopefully you guys got a lot of stuff going on, like with Tesla and all that, so you guys are probably going to be okay when it comes to power. Hopefully you'll start selling your energy. You guys could make some money doing that, that's for sure. Silver's doing okay. It's up a quarter. Now, it was, again, moving wildly. Gold, again, moving down, so it's back down closer to 4,000. Again, this is a good thing if you're somebody that's still sitting. Oh, by the way, let's look at the stocks, though, right? This is the cool part. So Dow's down a little, 0.85, 0.3 on the S&P, and 1.43 on NASDAQ. So on top of being bloated and inflated, that not being the buying power it once was, gold and silver are doing significantly better. I'm just saying, if you're in a 401k or an IRA, I highly recommend you get out of their system. And I would suggest sooner than later, at least diversify, divest, take a chunk of it and save that buying power. And then you can keep some in there if it makes you feel safer, whatever the case is. Right now, we're going through a major change in this planet. I think it's pretty unquestionable. And the strong money's on, we're going to get away from the Federal Reserve. That happening, we're going to have an asset-backed currency. It's going to be backed by one of these things or a couple of these things. It's going to be backed by gold and silver. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of that crap-based system backed in Federal Reserve notes based off the stock market that's way overbloated. Get out of that. Take your money and run while you can. And it's buying power. I don't want to break too much time on this. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Tax-free, penalty-free, up to 10% free silver on top of what you're moving over. That free silver thrown at you. Silver is something that I think they got a lot of it at a good price, so they're able to kind of work some sweet deals. It's the deal with going something bigger. DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. Get your wealth protection kit, and you'll likely get this little Ronald Reagan coin, right? It's got this like saluting thing, half ounce, 0.999% pure. It's a collector. It's awesome stuff. All of this happens when you go to DRSlikesgold.com. You put in your 4 data points. You hit the button. I think it'll pop up a thing that says call within 15, 20 minutes. If you do that, I'm telling you, your life's going to start to change. In a good way. You're going to actually have the confidence because you know you're saving your buying power. And you'll be able to buy something after all this nonsense is settled. DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that nonsense before that nonsense gets out of you. And it's wanting to. Got a few FDA stories today that are fun, all around Tylenol for the most part. The FDA withheld reports on Tylenol risk. We've got internal documents now being shown. Yeah, FDA scientists had reviewed numerous studies showing a potential association between Tylenol use during pregnancy and risks such as ADHD, neurological damage, and other developmental issues. Despite this, FDA leadership repeatedly delayed action, citing insufficient evidence and calling for further studies. Tylenol manufacturer, they're resisting this new label change. They really don't like this. And of course, everybody out there, guzzling Tylenol right now while they're pregnant. I'm not surprised with many people out there, right? Right? Darwin effect, if you will. FDA is talking about a big 6.7 million egg recall, which to me doesn't seem like that many eggs. I mean, that's a lot, but it's not really that many eggs. It's, I don't know, whatever this company, they got salmonella, they're saying. Where is this? This recall class 1. Arkansas-based Black Sheep Egg Company. Impacted products include the Black Sheep Egg Company branded free-range large grade A brown eggs with best buy dates of August 22nd through October 31st. If that means anything to you in any way, shape, or form, you maybe shouldn't eat those eggs or just cook them really good. Don't eat them raw. Don't be like, Adrian, drinking some sort of egg shake thingy in the morning. ICE arrests 100 illegal aliens in Idaho in a horse race event. They had an illegal horse race, dogfights, all sorts of weird stuff was happening at this particular location, which is probably very criminal. A lot of criminal people. Those type, 100 of them got arrested going somewhere. Border Czar Homan, he's blaming, all this rhetoric, all this nonsense for the stuff that's going on. NTD News did a pretty good cast on this one, even though it's not my girls.
And federal immigration operations erupted into chaos on both coasts. Protesters clashed with agents in New York City, and gunfire broke out during a traffic stop in Los Angeles. Here's more.
In New York, a routine immigration enforcement sweep on Canal Street in Chinatown quickly escalated. Federal agents with ICE and Border Patrol moved in on street vendors accused of selling counterfeit handbags and electronics. Within minutes, crowds gathered, shouting and blocking agents' vehicles. Homeland Security later said the operation was part of a broader crackdown on sellers of counterfeit goods. DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin said agents arrested one person for assaulting an officer, but New York Mayor Eric Adams said his city was not involved in the immigration operation. He said that undocumented New Yorkers trying to pursue their American dreams should not be the target of law enforcement, and resources should instead be focused on violent criminals. While New York saw street protests, Los Angeles witnessed gunfire when a traffic stop turned violent. Officials say 44-year-old Carlitos Ricardo Parias, an illegal immigrant who had previously escaped custody, tried to ram his car into officers as they attempted to arrest him. The DHS says officers followed their training and fired defensive shots, and the man was shot in the elbow, and a U.S. Marshal was shot in the hand by a ricocheted bullet. Both are in the hospital. Parias faces one count of assaulting a federal officer. He has a considerable social media presence. According to local media, he has regularly documented federal immigration operations on his TikTok account, and has more than 100,000 followers. McLaughlin has defended her agency's approach to immigration enforcement, saying officers aren't just going after random people.
When we say we want the worst of the worst out of this country, it's not just a talking point, it really is what it is. That's who we're going after. And these are not indiscriminate stops. We're not just walking on the sidewalk and picking up random people. We have intelligence, we have reasonable suspicion under the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution. That's who we're going after.
The Los Angeles shootout and the New York protests come amid a surge in hostility toward ICE officers, something President Trump's border czar Tom Homan told Newsmax is being fueled by divisive rhetoric from politicians and activists.
I think it's the cartels, but I also think it's the rhetoric, especially from elected mayors, elected governors, and elected congresspeople who want to compare ICE to terrorists and the Nazis. The far fringe on the left that become violent against ICE, they feel emboldened when the United States senator or a congressperson or governor says ICE are Nazis and racists. That emboldens them to take more action against ICE officers.
Homan also said cartels are taking revenge on ICE by using internal gangs in the nation's largest cities to attack officers. According to Homan and the White House, attacks on immigration officers have risen more than 1,000% in the last few months.
We are totally triggering these people. It's intentional. It's what we're trying to do. It's what's working. It's happening. They're literally running out as idiots, clapping and dressing up as animals and getting arrested. That's, again, dangerous. Be careful. Know your surroundings. We've been saying this all along, guys. You are more prepared than any other audience out there. Maybe. I mean, you should be. At least you've got some extra added ammunition that some other people probably aren't using, but we are certainly kicking some butt. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons invites elected officials in the blue cities. Come check it out. Let's see how safe it is, you bastards.
You know, one thing I'll say is I'll really invite these elected officials from these areas to actually come on those nights when it's not peaceful, per se. Anytime in the videos you see, it's always either the governor strolling down the Riverwalk when it's nice and sunny out, or you have other people going out in the daytime. Come on a Saturday night like the video we have, when it's bad like that. Come out and see exactly what we're dealing with. And then you can judge for yourself. Secretary Noem, she went out there. She showed the public exactly what was going on. She gave us the resources we need. The president has given us the resources we need. But it is not safe. These protests, these Antifa, organized protests are violent not only to law enforcement, but those surrounding communities, and it has to stop.
Yeah, it's, again, we're dragging them out. We're drawing them out, right? We're drawing them out intentionally. They cannot handle it. They're getting smart, but they can't resist. They can't exist in the darkness. They can't do anything in the darkness. They have no voice. They have no vision. They have no presence. They have none of the things that actually affect other people. Think of starting a movement. The dude was visible. He was dancing. He was acting strange. It was catchy. You can't do that in the dark. Karen Bass being an ass, I think. Well, I mean, she's basically, yeah. Now, I want to point out the words she uses. She says, people have been detained. Detained is not arrested. Detained is, hey, you were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and for a second, I'm going to ask you to sit there and hang on. Doesn't mean I put cuffs on you. Doesn't mean I did anything like that. Okay? Maybe I did, if you're being a dick, but I didn't have to. I'm going to ask you to just hang out for a second. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to take a report. That's detained. So understand that. She knows that. It's not like it's some fancy weird word that communists that go to Cuba all the time don't know. She knows that word. She's doing this intentionally, legally. Otherwise, what she's saying would be a friggin' lie. So technically what she's saying is true, but understand that's what that means.
In addition to undocumented individuals being detained, we also know that legal residents, people who were attending court hearings, were detained, and we now know that there is evidence of over 170 U.S. citizens who have been detained. And it's important that we say today that what is happening to undocumented immigrants is also happening to U.S. citizens, which means that this can happen to anyone, to all of us at any period of time. In addition to undocumented...
And I find that we could be detainees that are detained while the detention is underway. I say it. Yeah, whatever. Hopefully they detain you for that bad hairdo. That's what I think. That's what I'm waiting for. No kings, flyers have threatened a violent uprising unless SCOTUS and ICE are abolished. I don't think that's going to happen. So yeah, we'll see. Like I said, we are tempting them. We're triple dog daring them. If that has any weight anymore, maybe these Antifa people are too smart for the triple dog dare you. Some aren't. Doesn't seem like. Portland police just provided cover for Antifa. So what you're going to see here is this shiny lighty person here, okay? They're going to flashlight, and then they're going to go hide behind the cops that are like across the street, if I can find them. These guys. Okay, see? Flashy light behind the police officers. I'll play it out just so you can see the whole thing, but I'm trying to help you because when I first watched it, I was like, this is not easy to follow. And so that's what I'm talking about, Miss Snitchy.
Nice aim, I love that. Whoa!
Looks like a shiny something in the... They're hiding behind the sign. And they're running for cover behind Portland police. Oh my God. You've got to be kidding me.
Right? I mean, literally. So whenever the mayor is like, we got this under control. No, you don't. No, you don't. Publicly, you don't. And in reality, you don't. None of the things you're saying are true. In fact, if I was the Spaniard, I'd say I do not think that word means what you think it means. As I was saying... Again, what's interesting is Antifa's now allowed to, or I'm sorry, Portland's now allowed to have the National Guard there as it gets worse. The judge has already, stopped that, so that's cool. Trump admin seeking the Supreme Court ruling to toss out this National Guard stuff. And it kind of should be kind of defined. I hope they do the case properly. That'll be the trick, but Supreme Court should be looking at the fact that, I mean, the commander-in-chief is in charge of the National Guard. That's his. States also have some control, but ultimately the president of these United States has ultimate control. Meaning, even if a state was using them improperly, the president could stop that. This goes in a few directions. And the Supreme Court's kind of got a rule in one direction, which is they are federal troops. They are federal troops that are allowed to be on national soil, and they are still his troops. We'll see, but it needs to get in front of the Supreme Court. Hopefully they do it. I mean, that's kind of some of the fun for me right now, a little bit, is some of the Supreme Court crap. Hegseth, dude, this dude's a rock star. That's why he got the thumbnail today. He won the thumbnail. That's like the pit maneuver. Or he's the pit crew. What's the person that's the number one? I forget what the driver is. What's the first driver? Anyway, that's what he is. It's not pit. That's something different. I forget the name of that. I'm not a racer. I used to play video games. Pole position. There you go. I think that's what it is. A stupid video game named after it. Holy crap. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm not very smart sometimes. Anyway, here is Pete Hegseth. That's Pete Hegseth right here. That's not Maverick. No, that's Pete Hegseth. Freaking cool as hell.
It's Americans just like you for 250 years that raise their right hand, defend the Constitution, put something greater than themselves at the forefront of their own lives, and we salute you for that.
When puppies and kittens and children are on the line, I'll be there to kill them. Not the puppies and kittens, but the people causing the harm. Dude, that's pretty fucking rad. That's all I can say, man. Well done. Well done. And by the way, more badassery going on. I think this is the 7th boat. We're going to try to open this up and see how that goes. All right. It's lots of noise, apparently, in this particular... How many people are there? I don't even see any people. Is this where the person is? Oh, yeah, I don't even know. So, what are these remote controlled now? Smoked. I mean, it's probably worth the street value of the drugs versus the price of the missiles. Probably, similar, but the value in lives for sure, too. Hegseth's imposing new requirements on Pentagon interactions with Congress. This is kind of cool, in my opinion. He basically says unauthorized engagement. Well, this is a quote, so it's like not even basically, I guess, but unauthorized engagements with Congress by Defense Department personnel acting in their official capacity, no matter how well-intentioned, may undermine department-wide priorities critical to achieving our legislative objectives. So he sent a memo out, and he's directed a working group to further define the guidance on legislative engagements. Said the department intends to improve accuracy and responsiveness in communicating with the Congress to facilitate increased transparency. This review is for process internal to the department and does not change how or from whom Congress receives information. Long story short, they're getting it under control. Who can talk? Which is every company I've ever worked at's always said, you're not really allowed to speak for the company in a professional manner, unless that's the person, and in some cases that was who I was, not necessarily to the public, but certainly within internals. But nonetheless, they control that stuff, and they should. It's smart, because then you make sure you don't have idiots who, I heard this thing the other day, and I was pissed because they didn't have rolled gold pretzels, and I was like, you should have, and I'm shaking the machine, and then they got mad at me. Right, exactly. It doesn't go anywhere good. But this is what happens with these progressive people. They get fired up easy. All fired up. Yeah, here we go. Army is plotting a mass experiment of intelligence gathering balloons and like long flight solar type craft. I mean, and they're like, we don't know what else to do with the stuff, so we want to play around with it a little bit and just see what we can do, because what it's meant to do is provide a lot of, and this is why they're doing it, because they want everybody to test it and see, and they're like, fuck, they're right. It's going to look exactly like a ballistic missile. These are meant to be decoys. So we send over a whole bunch of these high-flying, super high-flying decoys. Many of them. Hundreds of them. Thousands of them. And then if we wanted to attack you at that very same moment, we'd be coming through the decoys. You'd have no idea until, well, that last moment when, well, things get tricky. Very tricky. Everything's moving so fast at that point. Again, a lot of our ballistic missiles that go up and out of the atmosphere and then come back in, they're hypersonic as well. Just the very nature of traveling that fast. I mean, they're hauling ass. Now, whether or not they're maneuverable, that's really the key thing. So they're going to be doing this fun little experiment, and it's probably intentionally just to piss off China specifically. It's like, yeah, dude, we could overwhelm you, China. You don't get what you're doing right now. We've not given you all the goods, just a few. We teased you. We gave you a taste, a little taste, and then you started twitching and you got weird. We can't have that. Can't have that, China. 14 GOP states push federal officials to require proof of citizenship for voter registration. It's 14, of course, GOP states. So they're trying to push us through. Ken Paxton's the guy leading it. It's also tying in with America First Legal. Just great groups. Love you guys. Cheers. Always. Love. And everything. Man, that poor eye. That poor eye. You could have been somebody. You know, like I know. It's unfortunate. It's like my face. Half my face doesn't smile the same as the rest of my face. Like this other side. Wait, this side. This is the side over here. It's like fucking clown mouth over here. I don't know what's going on with me. It is what it is. You guys will never not notice it now. Yep. Let's just get that out of the way. My face is horribly uncentric. Is what it is. I got a face for radio, folks. That's talking to a microphone all day. Like, anyway, whatever the hell. Whatever the hell. We're making progress. New Jersey governor race. Titans. Elections drawing near. Apparently, we're making some headway. Rep. Mickey Sherrill is running against former GOP Assemblyman Jack Ciattarelli. He's apparently doing quite well. In fact, I believe this has to do with that. Yeah, Democrats are panicking because, this isn't going well for them.
Is the Garden State, right? Yeah. What's growing in New Jersey? I don't see anything growing.
I'm going to go with Jack.
You're going to go with Jack?
Yeah, because from what I've seen her in her commercial,
Mikey Sherrill.
She's not answering. She's avoiding real serious questions.
I'm leaning on her. I just like her opinions.
All right, so some people there like Mikey Sherrill, a lot of people like you, Jack, but when you take a look at the polls, some of them now are within the margin of error, but if we go back to 2021, the polls seem to undercount your support by about 6 points. But what can you do in the next 2 weeks to bring this one across the line?
What we've been doing every day since the day after the primary, getting up and down the state, telling people very specifically how we're going to fix the state of New Jersey. It needs fixing. We've got an affordability crisis, a public education crisis, public safety crisis, overdevelopment in our suburban communities. And my opponent's entire campaign has been based on a stack of lies, her disdain for the president. She could fly a helicopter. That's not going to fix New Jersey. And when the Republican nominee is being endorsed by Democratic mayors up and down the state, that tells you how badly people want change.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. What do you think that's going to do come November the 4th in terms of flipping some Democratic support to you?
Hey, listen, Republicans are all in, unaffiliated independent voters are all in, and even moderate Democrats are all in because it's been 8 years of failed policies, and they're so very fearful that my opponent is Murphy 2.0.
I'm so curious to see how some of these elections pull out, man. Mikey, holy shit, really? Mikey? It's a chick, and it's named Mikey. All right, whatever. And Mikey can fly a helicopter. Mikey's probably got testicles. Whatever the hell is. Virginia AG candidate Jay Jones. Complicated history. Apparently he's done some blackface. In fact, it's sad. My friend, that guy Charlie, who my buddy that I went to his celebration of life, his like best friend showed me a picture of him and two of his friends doing blackface, and I was like, and then inside my mind, because I was standing in the lion's den, right, and I had like lions circling me that didn't realize I was food, so I held, but literally they showed me a picture of my good dear friend in blackface. I was like, oh my God, oh, how the world is so strange these days. Anywho, Jay Jones, the guy that wanted to kill the children and the senator person, the attorney general, for laws and stuff. Yeah, it's freaking insane. I seriously, it blows my mind there's as many people that can't see this. It's like, are you shitting me? How? Fuck. That big bright light in the sky. You can't see that. Oh, my fucking Lord. Oh, anyway. It keeps me gainfully employed, it seems. 92% chance Muslim socialist Zohran Mamdani becomes the next mayor of New York. This is according to Polymarket. Now, this is with Curtis Sliwa in. Sliwa's going to drop out. He's not saying that. He's not pretending that. He's not even pretending. But if this is actually true, wow. It's probably because they're going to steal the election then, because I cannot believe for a second that most New Yorkers feel this way. And so maybe it'll happen like that, where like 92% of the people will vote for him. And everybody that's an actual New Yorker will be like, did you vote for him? Like, I didn't vote for him. Did you vote for him? I didn't vote for him. Did you vote for him? I didn't vote for him. Who the fuck voted for this guy? How do you get 92%? I've just talked to 20 of my friends. None of them voted for him. So that's possible. And maybe we need something that large, giant state, place with lots of electronic media that could be used against them. If you, I mean, that Times Square area, right, with all the billboards and shit. Again, my past lives, companies tied together. Just remember this guy when he starts running for president in a few years. Gavin Newsom, California governor, #1 in homelessness, #1 in poverty, #1 in addiction, #1 in gas prices and income tax, gas tax, budget deficit, retail theft, citizens exodus. We're #1 in all these, by the way. I don't want to keep saying #1. So it's like gets old. When you got the foam finger, you got the foam finger. Fucking see it over and over. We got all these, okay? You shut up, bitches. Citizens exodus, COVID mandates, COVID school closures, COVID business closures, illegal immigration, funding illegal migration, illiteracy, wage stagnation, frivolous lawsuits, worker restrictions, and anti-business regulations. Yes. And that's how you get to the top. I'm kind of being joking. I hope you guys know that. But yeah, please don't hire him or vote for him. Anybody that would possibly hear my voice that would like him for some reason. North Carolina's Republican-controlled legislature just approved a new congressional map ahead of this next midterm. Looks like the Republicans are going to get another House seat. There's been a few of them that seem to be showing up, one might say. I want to remind you guys of the Wellness Company. So it's twc.health/OTF. That's twc.health/OTF. They've just got amazing products. First off, you rolled up your sleeve, this Ultimate Spike Detox. This is your guy. He is your motorboating best buddy. That's what I'm telling you he is. He looks for that cleavage site spike molecule, and he injects himself into it like nobody's business. And by doing that, he's able to pull that spike protein right out of your body. I think that's about as dirty as I could make that. But it works. It actually pulls the spike proteins designed for it. It's really good at it. I just make it sound way cooler than it actually is. But it's science, and it's happening, and it's amazing. So if you rolled up your sleeve or know somebody that rolled up your sleeve, highly recommend you, at least for yourself, and them if they're willing, highly recommend. It is made for it. Also, spike support, if you're somebody that's kind of gotten in that realm, there's some vitamins and minerals and stuff that can help you fight that as well. Now, longevity, they got a number of really cool things with longevity. I think I want to open this separately. I don't want to get lost. But they've got this one in particular, this one product. They got a lot of stuff that really helps you stay young as long as you can. But keep your DNA youthful, improve cell repair, increase energy production, healthy inflammatory response. Got a whole bunch. It's got that nicotinamide stuff. Right? People keep talking about nicotine. Nicotine in your system is good. Smoking is not the way to do it. Smoking cigarettes is not the best way to get nicotine inside your body. It's just not. There's a lot of other problems that come with it. So you get a bunch of bad effects with a good effect, or a few good effects, right? So that said, and again, I miss it every dang day. I do. I really, really do. Smoking was fun. Those are good times. I enjoyed my smoking days, but it was hell not healthy. And stopping was a big, big help. And me being able to breathe and walk up and down the stairs without feeling like I was going to die. Anyways, I've talked about it before. Easy way to stop smoking. Alan Carr, if you're interested, only if you're interested. If you're not interested, don't do it. But if you're at that point where it's like, it's really hard, man, and you need that little help to get over that hurdle so you can do it, dude, that book's one of the, it'll save your life. But if you're not at that point, don't do it. And don't buy it for someone else. It's not a gift book. Don't do that. Oh, I want them to stop smoking. I don't give a shit. Nobody cares what you want. If you're the smoker, it works. If you're giving it to somebody else, you get a big giant middle finger. No, don't do it, please. Anyways, how do I manage to ruin commercials? That's how. Ivermectin collection, they got a lot of good stuff. They've got a skin cream for people with skin cancer on your heads too. Think about it. It's just getting it from that angle. And then you've got the internals. They've got just ivermectin now, which is fantastic, and it's a great price. And of course, the parasite cleanse. If you want to have something that you can do in spurts that's powerful, and typically 21 days, and it's a 90-day supply. So 21 days is the typical, and then you kind of, taper off. You don't taper. You don't have you're not offering BJ's in the parking lot for some more ivermectin. It doesn't work that way, but it is one of those things where you just, you don't need more than that. It's powerful. You'll notice differences. I'm going for these little spots, and I'm noticing a difference already, just kind of going back into it. So, like I said, it's one of those things you should play with. Appetite, though, they've got a lot of good stuff. The drop product is really, really powerful. Just do some drops in your mouth. And apparently it's a oral peptide, which means that's that super small molecule immediately absorbs, even just within the mouth. There's a lot of cool stuff like that. But it combines a breakthrough peptide with MCT oil and CMOS to curb appetite, boost energy, and support metabolism. Drop works best as part of a long-term plan, not an overnight solution. So for those of you guys that realize, because otherwise you need a bunch of this, because your skin's gonna melt off you if you lose weight too fast. You really don't want to do that. Take this in term and let it took you a while to get here. Give yourself a little time to get off it, and your skin will actually handle it better. There's a lot of your body will just handle it better. If you do it too quickly, you're gonna be bummed. You're gonna look funny. You're like, no, I gotta get a facelift because I look all weird. And it's like you gotta get a body lift. And yes, don't lose it. Do it this way. Use Drop. This product's awesome, and it's helping a bunch of people. So again, it's just incredible stuff. And they've got it just broken down into different ways. Roots, hair growth. I mean, they've got it all going on. Cleanse and detox. You want to clean out your system. They've got it. It's a beautiful thing. Just go to twc.health/OTF. That's twc.health/OTF. Get out of that nonsense. Get out of there. Got a bunch of Trump stuff to get into. We have, what is this? Oh, yeah, this is weird. At the White House, somebody crashed into a barrier. They got everything opened up. I don't know. They arrested the individual. I don't know what they pulled out. We don't really know anything. Nothing's really come out, but it's certainly strange. Trump is striking a nerve with this East Wing ballroom demolition. He has already begun breaking ground. He took down some building that's been there since 1902, so people are freaking out. He's like, fuck that. We're putting in a dance hall, bitch. Hawley's like on the criticism of the demolitions. He's like, come on, give me a break. Says these are the people who for the last 4 years have torn down every statue of this country's history they could get their hands on. George Washington tore it down. Thomas Jefferson tore it down. Theodore Roosevelt tore it down. And now they're great defenders of history? Give me a break. They hate Donald Trump. They hate everything he does. About the most accurate thing anybody's said so far, I think. But here's a grandiose picture. Look at this. Wow. Can you imagine that? That is like, man, each one of them seats ought to fetch a penny. Like, wow. That is so just ridiculous, frankly. But it looks prestigious, like a White House should, right? Like you're the ruler of the free world, and you better look it. Now, one thing they point out in this message, which is really cool, because the next time somebody says, that's just fucked up what they're doing. Well, it seems to happen a lot on that side of the fence, too. In 1902, Teddy Roosevelt built the West Wing to separate workspace from the family residence. In 1909, William Howard Taft expanded it and added the first Oval Office. In 1930, Franklin Delano Roosevelt reshaped the layout, moved the Oval Office to its current spot, completed major East Wing construction, and built an indoor pool. 1948, Harry Truman gutted and rebuilt the entire interior of the White House from the ground up. Only the exterior walls remained. I bet it got really cool at that point. And it wasn't obviously just Democrats, so it was a mixture. In 1969, Richard Nixon added a new bowling alley and later turned the old indoor pool into a press briefing room. Interesting. In 2009, Barack Obama converted the tennis court area into a full basketball court. Word. So yeah, and now 2025, Trump is doing something and everybody and their mother has to get pissy about it. Meh. There's word on the street that they are adding to the White House a meme room. Literally, a meme room, or as some like to say, a meme room. They're going to be doing both. They're going to be adding it to the White House. This is pretty crazy because they're freaking out about Trump doing what he's doing. Trump admin begins accepting $100,000 payments for H-1B visas. This is happening now. It's being sued in courts, but it's meant to, obviously, you want to bring somebody in, they better be worth it. If not, no. If you're bringing them in just because they're cheap labor, no. If it's worth $100,000, then yeah, for sure, you'll do it. Otherwise, no. If there's some great, fantastic person over there, you'll pay the $100,000 to do it. It won't even matter. It's the cost of doing business. You're going to spend, what, $1 million in this dude's salary, and you're not going to pay $100,000? Get out of here. An incredible move just happened. Walmart has paused job offers to people who need H-1B visas. Walmart was literally bringing in people with H-1B visas to work at Walmarts. Now they're going to have to hire Americans. Trump's going to release $3 billion in farm aid from the tariff money. Also, new pipeline is boosting the flow of shale gas to the Gulf of America's liquefied natural gas, whatever. It's easy for you to say. But yes, we've got higher volumes going. We're raising the amount we're selling, and that number is actually pretty sweet and getting better. So Trump is making this country money, which means he can't afford to pay for some stuff. FBI, they've arrested almost 30,000 criminals since Trump's return to office. Very cool. That's pretty awesome. Good numbers. Gotta be proud of that. Also, Trump admin ramping up the military presence near Venezuela with bombers, Navy ships, and nuclear submarines. Like, he's supposedly got more and more kind of coming in over there. We're preparing for something. We're about to hit them, likely. And I'm guessing since they've got zero defenses, we'll probably hit them at one time and hit them hard. We've probably given them some form of warning. And outside of that, it's going to get weird. Scott Bessent says the U.S. signed a $20 billion economic stabilization agreement with Argentina. Sort of talked about this, but I think this has officially happened. It's a big deal. It's going to save Argentina. It's going to tie us together in a cool ways. And I think when our economy starts getting better, we're going to start doing business deals with Argentina. And that $20 billion will be easy to pay back. So this was a good move by Donald Trump. And it's also kind of doing something that we used to do. We used to give money to just everybody. Now we're like making you earn it, like the old-fashioned way, like that stupid commercial. The new Japan's ultra-conservative. They're calling her ultra-conservative. This is that lady, right? I'm trying to say her name. Let's see if I can find her name again. Takaichi. I think it's probably close. Because the Japanese, they actually pronounce the letters for the most part. Takaichi. All said. I think it's cool. I don't know. Whatever. She's very similar to Abe. Abe got shot. That was the one that got shot back in 2022. July 8th, if you're playing the bingo card. But yes, that was a pretty horrible thing. So this is a big change, and this is going to help our relationship forever going on right now. And this was kind of interesting. The British Patriot put this out. First ever female prime minister in Japan named Sanae Takaichi. As soon as she was sworn in, she immediately created a ministry for mass deportations. One of the Sanae's first statements in office: "We are sending them all home. Re-immigration or remigration. That's how it's done." Boom. Dude. And she's hot. That's right. Damn straight. You're going to hear that over and over. You guys are going to hate me. Those of you that get it though. Slovak PM claims EU tried to sabotage and canceled Trump-Putin peace summit. Yeah, they did. Europe hardcore sabotaged it. In fact, they were supposed to meet in Hungary, and then Poland's like, no, we'll shoot you down if you fly over Poland. And I was like, I'm not really good when it comes to, Europe, and some of you Americans are not as well. So here's Russia, this big giant yellow one, right? And if they wanted to easily get to Hungary, this landlocked area over here, they either got to fly over Romania, they're not happy about it, or fly over Ukraine, that's probably a bad idea, or they got to fly over Poland, go over Slovakia, and then into Hungary. Well, Slovakia's being dicks and Poland's being dicks, so it's like, all right. So we're going to nuke all of you. No, I'm just kidding. So, yeah, this is, they can go through Belarus, but that would have been the easy way. Go through Belarus and just down through Poland, into Slovakia, into Hungary, and, Bob's your uncle. That ain't going to happen. So maybe this next meeting happens. I wonder if Trump would be willing to meet in the eastern outskirts. Moscow's too far to fly over, enemy territory, but maybe Alaska again. I don't think we totally abused that. We did a little bit of a show-off thing, but White House confirms no plans for Trump-Putin meeting in the near future. They basically canceled it. That's what it comes down to. So, good job, Europe. Good job. You stopped the possibility of peace. Think about it. Epstein files be wondering, they've probably got their own version out there, so maybe there's not a lot of European people that are affected by the Epstein stuff. Maybe that's more Americans in general. Probably is. All said, a lot of these little factors come into play right now, folks. So, yeah, NATO leader, he's heading in today. Mark Rutte, the leader of NATO, is supposed to be coming in today. I'm not sure what all speculation, but it directly ties in with the peace process and Europe fucking with that. And Trump probably just going to be like, I don't know, man, but this is, you guys are working against everything we're doing, and we spend the most money, so you either get NATO under control and get them to back this, or I don't know, right? Mark Rutte's in a tough place. He's gonna have to, bring some knee pads, without saying that in a more direct way. VW's halting golf production in Wolfsburg as chip shortage worsens. What's funny, how it started, European Commission. The Russian military is taking chips from dishwashers and refrigerators to fix their military hardware because they ran out of semiconductors. Russia's industry is in tatters as its economy is on life support. How it's actually going right now? Starting Wednesday, Volkswagen stops Golf production in Wolfsburg. Why? Because they don't have chips. You guys going to take them out of refrigerators and stuff like that? Oh, wait, you probably don't have any refrigerator manufacturing going on either. Oh, yeah, you're probably completely dependent on everybody else. So you could have your green credits. Good job. Good job, England. Yeah. Kyiv's going to run out of money by April, so Europe better cough it up. 140 billion. Suck it right there. Put that in my pocket. Put it in the pocket. Put it in the thong. I'll dance for you. I don't care. I don't know how Zelensky. It's not like that. That's for sure. Canada ditches Ukrainian military pledge. They were going to give them some decommissioned troop carriers. They've apparently changed their mind. I wonder who talked him into that. Cracks me up every time I hear Ben Fulford talk about how Canada is somehow going to take over United States. It's like, bro, there's countless things that show you guys are, no offense, Canada, and I'm not trying to be a dick to my Canadian friends. I love you guys, by the way. Canada's awesome, but you guys are not going to be in charge of us. It's not going to be like that. Hopefully you guys are part of our family. That would be cool. We would like that. Or we can be separate. That's cool. It's okay. It's more expensive for you guys. China, for the first time, is going to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. What? I know. I heard it. I was like, wait, whoa. Holding. Offense. Number 73. Whatever. First down. However you'd say it. China's first time, which is stupid because it's all bullshit. This is how desperate the deep state's getting. We'll reduce our emissions by 7 to 10% by 2035, which is nothing, by the way. That's them making one small adjustment in their stacks, and they've done that. So that's like nothing because they've got so much manufacturing going on there. They can do one small change and make a huge difference. Well said. whatever. South Korea reports North Korea launched missiles into the eastern waters. I don't know. I think they were maybe, I don't know if they were testing that new big missile they got, because that big missile, I don't think they could launch that further than the seas, because if they did anything that went looked like it was going further, that would be an immediate attack on them. That's yeah. So whatever. They were doing some sort of weird show of force. Maybe this is China's muscle flexing. Probably. All said. World's getting crazy. World's getting fun. And we are heading into weird times as they push the deep state left progressive people into doing more and more mistakes and getting out on the streets. So be careful, guys. Don't necessarily put yourself out in the middle of that, and know who you can trust, know where you can trust, know all that stuff, and you will be fine. You'll get through this perfectly. Again, a lot is happening, but we're going to do it together. Make sure you ripple it out too to everybody else, and certainly share this with people if you like it, and hit those thumbs up and stuff like that. That actually helps a lot, especially if you're still watching at this point. That really helps. Where we go one, we certainly go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.